I feel like it was just one of those series where, like, I think also just based on the kind of the nature of the decks and the way that I feel like the matchups were kind of positioned. At least for me, it was like I just need to get the Druid through, and then I feel like I should be in a fine spot. So I think the Druid match was probably the most like important one from my end, at least.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and you got through it real quick. Let's see here. I was in a good spot on the Paladin Rogue one until you got a turn 5 Ziliax.
Yeah,
That was brutal.
Mm-hmm. I like wouldn't really expect that matchup to be too bad, but I saw the potential problem with, you know, if you get a good start, especially like if you're on the play, I fall a bit far behind, and kind of realized pretty quickly, I was like, okay, well, I need to do a bit of cheating here. I need to cheat a lot of mana to keep up with, you know, board into a buff.
Yeah, the Paladins games kind of like played themselves, which is, you know, I didn't bring it for it to be interesting. I brought it to be effective.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see here.
It was funny because before the show, I was arguing with WorldEight. I'm like, you guys were on stream. He's like, no, we weren't. Like, this was the day before. And I realized it was, no, he finally, it was McBanter's was streaming the matches on the day one. Cause I'm like, I know I watched it and I know I like put it in the coin concede, like, hey, it's McBanterFace and WorldEight right now. But no, it was the day before. It wasn't on stream. It was just on your stream.
Yeah. I was trying to look for it and find the VOD with like both hands, but I realized it was only on my stream, so yeah.
Well, we got all the replays, so
yeah, I'm running through them right now. It's like all 3 Paladin ones. It's just McBanter cleared the board, and I couldn't get on.
Yeah, I mean both the Druid and the Rogue ones were particularly close. I think where there was like one turn where I needed, you know, to find something in particular. Like the Druid one especially, basically the entire game ended up coming down to a point where I needed to hit swipe off of toy chest or I was dead, and I hit the swipe, so I won. If I didn't, I would have lost. Pretty simple.
Yeah, well the Bob did good work, but again, that was just kind of like I think it was just kind of like you didn't have anything else better.
Yeah. Basically, it was essentially just buying me one turn and a little bit of extra mana to find the swipe. Like I was always going to end up needing the swipe on the following turn anyway. But I figured, you know, it gives me one extra draw, and then also the 4/5 body is pretty reasonable against Paladin, right? Like they don't have ways of actually dealing with minions, so at the very least, it can pump a shield or maybe, you know, kill off a 1/3 or something.
Let's go to turn 5 of that game, actually. Paladin Druid. And Banter plays the Mista Vista instead of playing the Ancient of Yore.
Yeah, so I mean, basically, my theory with this is like, I remember thinking about this one for a bit. Very basically, a 5/5 body is actually pretty good, just in general, right? Like it helps me deal with stuff. But basically, I was looking at my hand and was like, okay, well, I have Yore. At this time, I had Yore, I had Bob, Chalice with an Enforcer on board, File, Toy Chest. So I figured if I Yore at this point, like very likely the way the game progresses is you put down another minion or two, you buff the board, and then I'm just never ever able to clear it. So I felt like the armor gain and card draw, as nice as it is, it wasn't actually going to help me win the board back, which is really the only thing I need to do, right? I don't need to kill Paladin. I just need to get him off board one time, and then everything should be pretty easy from there. And I felt like Vista was going to be a lot more efficient to do that, especially with the Bob in hand to stall for one turn. I essentially only need, like, I have one turn of doing something to, you know, help deal with the board, and even the 5/5 helps out. And then the Vista proc would deal with whatever sort of refill would happen in the future. So that was my reasoning for that one.
Yeah, but I mean, so the counterpoint though is like if you're digging for swipe, your helps.
Yeah. It does help to get like one swipe. I just don't know if one swipe is necessarily going to do enough on its own. Like even against the board state we have here with the 3/6 Enforcer, 2/4 Noitron, and then I'm assuming that there's going to be a buff in hand at some point, whether that's like a flash sale or Crusader's Aura, whatever, to give you a little extra health. I feel like the Vista proc generally tends to do a lot in these sort of matchups, as well as just even the 5/5 body. I think pretty often the 5/5 body is going to end up saving me quite a bit of health, which is obviously what Yor does. Sure, Yor draws me cards, but I'm drawing cards, throughout my turns, and I have the toy chest to look for it. So basically, I'm just saying at this point that I don't necessarily think that Yor into like one swipe is going to do enough at this stage.
Mm-hmm. Okay, that's a good one. All right, the next one that we could take a quick look at from my perspective is Demon Hunter or Warlock. Specifically, I'm on the coin on 3. And I decide not to coin out Zill after seeing a shard. And I think that was probably a mistake. I won this game anyway. So you go to turn 3 for the Demon Hunter. So I don't know what you would think of this particular line here.
So you end up top decking Infestation, I think, right? Yeah. I mean,
yeah.
I don't think it's crazy. Like, obviously, in general, it's like, oh yeah, I want to get Zilly down. I would probably be tempted to do it at least, but part of my goal of that was just to get some stuff on board to be able to, not take all the damage. And I think if you had gone Zilly here, I don't know the exact math on it, but looks like a pretty good chance I'd be able to clear it with location. And I think that would probably put you in a rough spot. So I think against location definitely ends up being better. There's also like Corpsicle, right? Like, obviously, I don't necessarily want to take a turn playing Corpsicle, but I think at this stage, if you're able to stick the Zilly at any point for like at least a turn, probably going to be in a pretty good spot. So I don't think it was like necessarily a mistake. I think it's definitely one you could argue here. But I think going Infestation, clearing stuff, pretty reasonable. Protect the 0/3 on board, and then try to get Zilly on ideally a less full board. So
yeah, I think that was one where I was looking at it and I was like, I think this was fine either way, but you're always looking for like the best line.
Yeah.
And then I think I made yeah, I think also like the problem is that I lost with Paladin 3 times, right? So I was like, did Banter like find the AoE, and then like in the Warlock game you had the Hellfire, and if you didn't have the Hellfire right, like I think I win it with the Flash Sale the next turn.
Yep. I mean,
and it's not me complaining. It was just kind of like that's how the deck was built.
Yeah, pretty much.
So that's Tito. That's why I was like, these games aren't that interesting.
Yeah,
that's fair.
It was just really the Yor turn and then the Zilly turn, which I thought were like the two.
Yeah, the other
interesting points.
Yeah, probably not a ton of different like options through a lot of them. One of the kind of interesting things in the Warlock game that I'm still not necessarily sure about now, but it was something I had thought about a bit before, was I didn't actually play Quest on one. I coined out the Spelunker because like essentially I'm sort of I am losing mana, but my theory at the time was if I play Quest on 1 and Location on 2, I think I'm going to be dead before I ever finish my quest pretty often. So because you play minions, you snowball, you buff the board, and it's like, okay, well, maybe I finish quest on 5. I think I might be dead before then. So decided to coin it out, even though it's technically like pretty mana inefficient with location. But I ended up doing that. It didn't even end up necessarily doing that much because you had a couple like 3 HP minions. I was able to kill one minion, but then I ended up having the Hellfire anyway. So I don't really know if it worked out favorably for me, but I thought that was kind of interesting.
Yeah, no, interesting, especially with the starting hand with the biome, so you can, next turn biome escape or whatever, right? And keep putting stuff on the board. I actually thought it was the correct play from my perspective, to be honest. Because not everything has 3 health. There's a whole bunch of little, like you keep fireflies off the board that way. Good into the maze guide, obviously. Hit the righteous protector one time, stuff like that. Get rid of the divine shield. That was a good play. It was a funny game because the recruiter did a lot of work there.
No, I remember I was like, oh, dude, like, I was like, oh, yeah, like, normally, you Hellfire against a deck like Aggro Pal. I was like, oh, yeah, he's going to have no cards. And then I thought about it, I was like, wait, like, he actually has pretty good refill. I mean, luckily for me, the keywords were, like, if there was, like, a Wind Fury in there, or maybe the Divine Shield, that would be particularly annoying, I think. The keywords end up being not really relevant. But still, like, two 4/4s on curve. I was like, oh, yeah, that's almost certainly his best turn. And honestly, it's kind of annoying for me at that point.
Yeah. I think my mistake in that game was also on 3 not playing the Customs Enforcer right before the location opened up again. Oh, no, you didn't have the location on board yet. Okay, I feel a little bit... Oh, no, you did have location. Should have played that before on 3. Well, I still had a chance.
Instead of, like, Maze Guide plus the 1-drop, you mean?
Yeah, but I had the flash sale to follow up. Yeah, it's probably better to do the...
Location was close on 3, though, flash sale.
Yeah, it would have been closed.
Okay.
Because of course, like, I mean,
okay.
Yeah, like, technically, you would still have it for, like, turn 4, but, I mean, in general, like, trying to go wide into the flash sale does make sense, right? Like you said, it's essentially Hellfire or bust at this point, because I can't really come back on board otherwise. So I think in general, like, when you're playing against, a deck like this, and I have 4 cards in hand, making a play that is going to win whatever percent of the time I don't have Hellfire is rarely going to be, like, wrong. So.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, that was pretty much it. Just 2... Yeah, slim pickings for honestly interesting decision making here.
Yeah, probably not the most exciting series of all time in general. It's kind of just.
I guess the ban was interesting. Because you decided to ban hand buff Hunter.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean,
so we could always talk about the bans too. Like, I banned Nebula because it was like the most control deck that you had.
Yeah,
and I was like, I don't want to play against Hex and
Volcano.
I don't know if you ran Baking Soda.
Yeah, I did. Yeah. Part of the reason why I kept it is I know some people were cutting that in Shaman, but I figured there would be, like, at least a handful of people with some more aggressive lineups, and I don't think you really need to get super greedy with that deck. Like, you have so much value anyway. So I liked having the Volcanoes because when we were playing it a bit in prep, played against Handbuff Hunter, and that was, like, probably the most important card against Hunter. I think it was better than Hex against Handbuff Hunter, because usually what happened in that matchup was if you hexed one minion, you just died at the other one. Whereas if you have Volcano, you can somewhat reasonably clear everything with the help of a couple 3/3s on your own or whatever. So yeah, I definitely liked having Volcano, and seems pretty reasonable. I think, like, if I wasn't running Volcano, then maybe it wouldn't make as much sense for you to ban, because you can kind of just get under it with aggressive decks, but with it can be pretty annoying. So yeah. And then for me, but the main reason for the ban, I remember I saw the lineup, I was like, ooh, I think overall in terms of the lineups I queued into in playoffs, that was probably one of the ones I felt the least comfortable matchup wise, in terms of, like, being favored, because I thought my lineup was really good. I felt favored in, like, pretty much every series. That was definitely one of the sketchiest for me. It was like, okay, I mean, clearly, like, target Druid, Enforcer's pretty good against Rogue. I think the first thing I noticed was how many Enforcers were in your lineup. I was like, this could get a bit annoying, especially for, chalices and coins and all that stuff. So I figured that Hunter was probably just in general going to be the hardest one for Druid to beat. And my assumption was if I can get Druid through, I probably win the series. So it was mostly
Mhm.
just a ban for Druid. I knew that you also really liked the deck too, which helps. But I mean, I would ban that one in any case. I think with those decks.
Yeah, stay under the radar
Oh.
there, WorldEight.
Okay. All right. Yeah. Well, I really enjoyed this podcast, McBanter. Thank you for taking the time. I know that you got streaming to do. If you
Yeah,
want.
of course, it was fun.
Yeah, we definitely appreciate you having here. Look forward to having you on again in the future. And good luck in Worlds. We'll all be rooting for you.
Yeah. Good
Yes.
luck.
No,
Good luck.
no worlds
Rooting for
yet,
you.
but if I can top 4 in the Master Tour, then I'll qualify. That's basically the main prize for the MT. So yeah, that'll be the plan. Going for top 4 at least.
And if you're new here, please like and subscribe. We're going to be live streaming most weeks, I think, going forward. We'll see. But subscribe to the Bread and Butter podcast. You can just look for it on any podcast platform. And we're there. And we have great guests on like these two every week. So look forward to seeing you. Thank you, everybody, and have a great night.
Slide two brothers meet one another when they slide up to the mic. It's bread and butter with one another. Let's start up that recording light.